Alright guys, good morning, good morning. Welcome to our morning note. It is 9:04 Eastern Standard Time. Sorry for the delay there. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Let's go ahead and talk market, shall we? Before we begin, make sure to click the bottom right hand corner of your screen, turns on notifications, subscribe to our channel, and you can like our videos, of course. More great things to come. So, a couple of things we need to go over. Real quick, I'll repeat this at the end of the video. Housekeeping. If you want to join us for our masterclass orientation preview, again, it's invite only. You have to shoot us an email, garcapital@gmail.com. Include your name, include your email address, and your Instagram. And then that's it. Once you do that, our back office will tally up the names because there's only a certain amount of slots. You can't just have everyone in the world in there. But again, once we have that, then we'll put you on the list. We're going to set out an email blast tomorrow. So today is the last day if you want to sign up for the masterclass orientation. Again, no obligation to you. It's free of charge. We're just going to show people how masterclass works and introduce our teachers. And that's about it. Again, nothing really wild. So again, nothing really changes in regards to morning notes and all that good stuff. But again, if you want to be a part of it, you have to email us, garcapital@gmail.com. Include your name, include your Instagram name, and your email address, which should be included. The best email to reach you. We'll send out an email blast tomorrow. That'll include the link itself. So again, you have to have the link to get in. And again, we'll go from there. So awesome stuff. All right, so good morning all. Let's go ahead and talk about what the markets did basically yesterday, since I missed yesterday. I've been dealing with a lot in regards to closing on a home that I'll be moving. So again, I was on the phone with the lender and on the phone with the agent, trying to get stuff back and forth. And of course, they want to work at 9 a.m. Don't they know I have to deal with the markets, right? They don't know that. That's all right. But here I am. So at least that's done for now, unless they ask for some more stuff. Who knows? Buying a house is not easy, guys. It's a lot of paperwork. Just wanted to let you know. Okay, let's take a look at ES first. That's the most important. Again, we had a big flush yesterday with yields go up, yields going up, the 10-year yields. Again, I went ahead and sent out something on Instagram talking about yields. And then it's not really not the worst thing in the world. A lot of people say that high yields are bad. Yes, interest rates are not good. Higher interest rates, we want low interest rates, obviously, to spur economic growth. But again, when you start getting a little more inflation, higher yields. So the deal with higher yields is that, does it hurt certain names? Does it hurt stocks? Yes and no. Again, the velocity of the rate increase is a factor, sure. But again, when you get higher rates, guys, that is usually indicative of a growing market because people are selling bonds, which is more safe. So again, when people are getting away from bonds and they're going into different assets, that's usually a really good sign. So again, you shouldn't fear that. Again, just like that B of A note said, shouldn't fear the rate rise. Again, the velocity of it does take it back from you. So again, it does help financials for the most part. Yesterday, not so much with oil, but financials it does help because higher yields helps them with their spread in regards to their loans and how much money they make. So again, with higher yields, financials are going to be the one, value companies are the ones that are going to be the most benefit. Usually, we've noticed the last couple of sessions, the Dow has been doing very well. Again, they're blended more with value than growth. But then you look at the NASDAQ, which is higher growth, they went down. So again, remember, keep in mind with these tech stocks, guys, and this is why tech stocks have gone down when rates have gone up. Again, a lot of these tech stocks need to have access to the bond markets. Again, your 10-year yield is usually the baseline for lending when it comes to capital markets. So if the 10-year bond yield is higher, right, then it's going to cost more of capital. The capital cost to borrow is going to be more. So again, if you're an aggressive growth company in tech, you need to borrow money. So you're either going to go ahead and offer more shares or you're going to borrow on the capital markets in a bond offering. But again, if rates go higher, again, that hurts through the fact that, again, interest rates are higher. So always keep that in the back of your head. Does it mean that the NASDAQ, the world's over? No, it doesn't mean at all. Again, you're getting some short-term volatility. Again, the only thing that's going to change is that you can't use the term TINA anymore. There is no alternative. Well, there is an alternative now. If you want to buy a 10-year bond that's paying 1.75% in yield. Keep in mind the S&P 500 dividend yield is right around 1.72, 1.73, which kind of hurts. So again, you have to understand that in order for that to compensate, the S&P does have to go down slightly because if the S&P price goes down slightly and they pay the same dividend, the dividend yield goes higher. We saw that with ExxonMobil about 7 months ago when the price of the stock went down, but their dividend was the same. Well, if the dividend's the same, that means the dividend yield. Remember, dividend yield is really based on the price versus the dividend that's paid. So if the price of this asset, the stock goes down, the yield's going to go up no matter what. And if the stock goes up, the yield's going to go down, all things being consistent. So if the S&P 500, let's say you bought SPY and the yield has been the same, they pay the same exact dividend yield, it's a dividend price, or no matter what, their yield's the same. But if their price of the actual asset, which is the SPY, goes down, then the yield goes up. So what you're kind of getting in a weird way is a little bit of a balancing act. So again, if yields go up 1.1 3/4, and then the S&P falls slightly, but the dividend yield, the dividend payout is the same, then the dividend yield will creep up to match that. And then the TINA, which is there is no alternative acronym, kind of balances this up out. So the last time we had a taper tantrum when it comes to the Fed was in 2011. And after that, we soared anyways to all-time highs within a couple of years. And within that year too. Again, 2009 was really the beginning of the new bull market, which ended technically in 2020 due to COVID. Yes, last year. We all know that in March. And now, in my belief, which I've been saying, we are still in a new bull market. We just hit all-time highs literally on Wednesday. And then we had a little bit of a flush due to the 10-year yields. Again, guys, it's a new paradigm. We are now in the cusp of recovery, meaning COVID is, I don't really want to say eradicated, but again, back to normal. Again, concerts are opening up, sporting events are opening up, a lot more people are traveling. I think it has to be expected that the 10-year is going to go up, that rates are going to go up in order to show that, hey, risk on is back in the market. A lot of people get into assets. The problem is in the tech space is that there is a lot of new companies out there and a lot of issuing new stocks, and you're not getting tons of new money in. Sure, you have STIMI and everyone's talking about STIMI, but again, for the most part, the institutions, new money is not fresh, new investor money is not coming in as of yet. What you're getting is a lot of rotation. Again, you want to buy something, you got to sell something else. And what are you going to sell? Your high-flying winners, the FANG names, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google. You can add Apple in there if you want. Again, those names are going to be under a little bit of pressure, but again, in my opinion, those are opportunities for you. Again, I'm still bullish. I have not changed my narrative. I think that the 10-year is actually a good thing. Again, the one thing that has been telling me a lot about this market is the VIX. The VIX hovering around 20 and being below 20, guys, that is a signal. We are hitting a new paradigm here. It may be a little different than what you're used to, meaning cheap money from the 10-year being nearly 0.5%. Now we're at 1 3/4. But again, guys, that is to be expected when you have economic recovery. It's just a fact. People are going to sell bonds, and then they're going to go into equities or other assets. And we're seeing now with Bitcoin, we're seeing it with different things. Bitcoin right now is at 58,341. So before you panic or anything, a lot of people have asked, oh, should I sell anything? In my opinion, I don't think you should do anything, but just wait. At the end of the day, look at what your screen is right now. This is the S&P 500 futures. 39.78 on Wednesday was an all-time high. I said we're going to hit 4,000 by August. You could screenshot it. I mean, we're about 20 points away. Now we're about 92 away. But looking at it here, we'll do some technical readings real quick, and then we'll go over some numbers here, and then I'll answer some questions. So again, I really want to go ahead and state, the obvious. A lot of people are freaking out over the 10-year, but again, you shouldn't really freak out over it. Looking at it here, again, we're on an hourly chart, nothing new, 20 days. You can see that we're basically at support. 3,900 seems to be that line in the sand. Again, you had here Powell, which was overshot, and then it came back down, and again, we're just hovering here. So looking at the ES right now, 3,900 seems to be that line in the sand. Really, the next support that we haven't broken really would be 38.95. Excuse me. Really, the next thing that we have to look at here is that today is opex day, which is options expiry on equity futures, on futures contracts, and also options. So looking at some numbers here, we're in a triple witching day mixed the last 3 years. This is according to the almanac, the stock market almanac. Excuse me. The Dow and S&P have been up the last four of the last 6, and the Nasdaq has been up 5 of the last 6. So keep that in mind. That's where we at. So triple witching today, and that's really what we're waiting on. So with that being said, we really just have to wait and see. I really wouldn't do anything today. Let the things roll off and kind of worry about not worry, but look into next week. getting some volatility here. Keep in mind, equity futures, if you bought SPX contracts, they expire at 9:30 this morning. So right at the morning, you're going to see a lot of volatility. As an investor, really you have two sides. You either are an active manager, which you're somebody who's buying stocks, more like me, that I manage my own money, that you buy certain names and you buy, what you like and what have you, or you're a passive investor who just buys index funds. If you're an index fund investor, none of this matters to you. If you're an investor that actually picks stocks, then of course you're looking for opportunity. But again, guys, if you're buying stocks, really you're not worried about you're not worried about anything within 5 years because that money is to be invested long term. So really nothing has changed on that end. Again, there's nothing really to fear on this end in regards to a bond and the bond yields. Again, you start breaking 38.95, then 38.96 or 38.50 would be your next target, which really isn't that terrible because that's the same level from 2 weeks ago. So I'll have some perspective for the most part. I know it's a lot to go over, but again, this is where we are. Again, I want to explain that for the most part. Do I think tech is still the place to be? Absolutely. That's where you're going to get the most growth for the most part. Again, interest rates, historically speaking, are very, very low. But again, where else are you going to get your growth? You're going to get it from value? I mean, remember, financials are still capped in regards to regulation. Sure, they're at all-time highs, but what more growth are you going to get? How much growth can you get in banking? Tech is still the difference. Again, I still think Bitcoin is the future. I think crypto is the future. I still think Coinbase IPO is going to be the hottest IPO. I'm buying into that IPO when it comes out. EV is still on the move. You have online betting is still on the move, and cannabis. Those are probably your four. Why I said Bitcoin, betting, blunts, right? But again, those three, and look at EV. Those are the future growth. That's the future growth in this economy. Again, cannabis. Again, you're going to see the difference when I explained in the podcast regarding the states that do need some revenue. And again, we're getting a lot of talks in Washington about letting these cannabis dispensaries get access to banking, which is very much needed. So with that being said, again, I don't want to bore you guys. We'll leave it there. Let's answer some questions. I thought I had my glasses here. Good morning. How do you feel about Nike's earning? I did read that call again. It was less than expected in North America, but Jordan Brand did very well. I think Nike is still a buy and a great company. I own shares. Looking at Nike now, is there anything really worth playing? Not really. Really, the next level I have to buy would be 115. I know again, I want a deep discount, but again, I love the name, own it long term. I don't think this is a dip that's even worth buying at this time. It's not enough. It really isn't enough. So let's go back to my maximize my sell. Thoughts on bank leaps? I do have some XLF calls that are for, I believe, June that I'm holding. So again, I'm not against it. I would say XLF is probably your best bet. Good morning, tech is back on the menu. Yeah. Do you think we're going to restart the lows Nasdaq-wise? Absolutely not. I don't think so whatsoever. What's your thought for next week 10-year yield? Do you expect another spike? Yeah, I just think that we're going to get some movement here and there. I mean, that's basically where we are. If you want to take a look at the TLT is where again, when yields go up, TLT bond prices go down. So let's go ahead and go to the daily, and we could see, again, breaking all support that you could see. But if we go ahead and expand ourselves 20 years, really 131.90 is your next level. That's where we are. I mean, we hit the lows in October of 2019. We were at 111. And then you could see that was literally the highest point, I believe, of rates at that time. So again, if you have it all the way at the lows, that's where the rates are the highest. When you're at top here, that's where rates are the lowest. So keep in mind, TLT is bond prices. Bond prices move inverse from bond yields. Always, always remember that. Let's see. Good morning. Could we see THCX at 24? Let's see. THCX at 24? Yeah, of course. And I think it's going to hit to 31. So again, of course, I think 24 is going to happen. I just wouldn't trade options on it. Thoughts on Weed Maps SSPK? I have never heard of that in my life. So don't know much about it. I can't really recommend something I don't know much about. So looking at the chart, there's really nothing to do here. So I'd have to look at it a little more. It says, when do you think THCX can hit 24? That's a good question. When? The timing is a little difficult. Obviously, to time these things, there's no real catalyst. I would say 24 when, Cron and CGC report. That would probably be the best bet. Good morning, Carlos. I know you're buying now, so I wonder why you think buying a house is a good financial move. Well, buying a home, honestly, and this is something that probably a lot of people don't agree with. Buying a home is not an investment. It isn't. It's an asset, but it's not an investment. Unless it pays you, it's not an investment, guys. Remember that. Buying a home is, to me, probably I would say for me, I'd rather have buying a home in Central Florida where it's better than renting here. Again, I kind of want control of the place I live. I don't know if I want to paint, I don't have to ask anybody. If I want to add something, I don't have to ask anybody. I just do it myself. Again, does the asset appreciate? Yes. But again, it's not an investment. It's just something that I wanted. I wanted that home. It's a nice home. And again, I have a family, of course, and I don't want to rent someone else's property where I don't have control. So I guess I would say it's more of a control thing. But again, interest rates were low. Obviously, I sold one Bitcoin for the down payment, but again, which is 20% of the home, and went from there. So again, my financial situation is not the same as everyone else's. Everyone is different. So again, it's really up to you. Again, if you're a single guy or a single gal, and maybe buying a home is not smart, maybe you can still rent. But again, everyone is different. Maybe if you have 5 kids, you don't want to rent. Maybe you want to buy your own home. Everyone is different, of course. What do you think about Evolution Gaming, Swedish-based international gambling operation? I've never heard of that name, but again, I'm all about online gaming. So based on what you're saying, that's an online gaming, then yeah, they'd probably be okay. But Europe already has online gambling. Do they have an American kind of spot to deal with, or a space to fill? Is my question. J. Powell ease for what he did to Mr. Mark. No, J. Powell didn't really do anything wrong. We think we all know that J. Powell's doing his thing. But the main thing is that all this here is all TLT of the bond market soaring. So again, I guess the bond market is just really selling off their bonds in order to get a better return. That's what we talked about in regards to bonds. Again, that's not bearish that rates going up. Again, people selling bonds is actually showing that people or institutions are looking for more risk. That's usually the case. Is Blink worth playing? I think Blink is worth investing. What do you think about taking a long call 2021 of any better stock? I think you're better off just owning the stock instead of playing leaps, because they tend to be very expensive. Charge for FB, Apple, UAL. Yeah, let's take a look at Facebook. Yeah, remember we talked about this break? Again, still a breakout, beautiful play. I'm still holding these, by the way. I think people were asking, everyone was at 20% on Twitter. I'm still holding these things. Again, this is for April 1st. Again, it's still a breakout out of this wedge here. So again, I still like it. Looking at Apple. Again, Apple took a little bit of a hit. We know that with tech. I own some calls for next week. Let's see if we hold that 120, as we should, and then we should be able to bounce back. And then UAL did hit green yesterday. And again, it's been holding up very well. Again, it's above this range of 56, and we should be able to bounce back pretty easily. Let's see, BA, good buy point on THCX. If you're batting initial position, I think right now it's fine. Looking at BA still needs a little more. I would say wait for 275. If not, I would say 266. And then you could play maybe the 270s. Apple call next Friday. When or not would you cut? If it breaks 120, maybe I'll go ahead and take a look. But again, we're going to get some volatility today, so I'm expecting. Let's see what we get. Thoughts on Tesla? Good buy or here to wait? Okay, last question here. Looking at Tesla, really the next level for me to buy Tesla is 508. Until then, I haven't really done anything. Let it ride the way it is. There were some headlines regarding China and Tesla, so I know this morning has gone on longer than expected. So again, that's the last question. If you do want to be part of the masterclass orientation, which will be on Monday at 7 p.m., you need to send us an email with your name, Instagram name, and your email address. That's by today. By today, 8 p.m. If you're not sending by then, you will not be part of the group. You will not be part of it. It's invite only. So once we get your emails, I got to get that over to tech department, and then they're going to send out an email blast with the link. So once that happens, you'll be part of it. If you didn't get an email link on Saturday, then maybe next time when we do another one. But we'll leave it there, guys. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I got to check in with the team, and we'll catch you guys later. G.A.R Capital FX.com. Keep it locked as always. Twitter, up to date as always. And we'll catch you next Monday for our morning note. Cheers, guys.